Yeah, I was going to say my trade's not going to be as, high intensity as that one. But a team that I think we're going to see make a move on draft night is going to be the Cleveland Cavaliers. Andy, that's your team. I think we're going to see something happen there. They have a lot of moving pieces. They had such a successful season with a team that had in the preseason power rankings for teams that were, I believe it was like 4 years from now. What's the power rankings for these teams? Cleveland came in at dead last. And this team was like at the 6th seed fighting for the playoffs all year long. It's such a success coming out of Cleveland post-LeBron era. And what I think they're going to do, this trade does not involve Colin Sexton. We've talked about him before. Colin Sexton's a guy that I would not be surprised if I see moved on draft night or later on in the season before the trade deadline. This trade actually involves Caris LeVert in the 14th pick. Cleveland needs some offense. They need some sparks on there. Their defense is superb. Jarrett Allen, Isaac Okoro, a lot of pieces there in Cleveland that defensively hold their own. I think a guy that they can look at is Gary Trent Jr. Gary Trent averaged 18.3 points per game, shot 41% from the field and 38% from deep. He's the ultimate 3-and-D guy. He averaged just under 2 steals per game. I think he's a great fit next to Darius Garland. And with this trade, let's say they don't go out and actually trade Colin Sexton, you retain him. He could be the ultimate 6-man for you coming off the bench behind Gary Trent Jr. and Darius Garland, those two guards. Cleveland, that to me is a successful offseason because you keep the guys that keep your team as a top defensive team in the East, and you get a guy that's going to go out there and, compete defensively and also bring some offense to the table. Yeah, go ahead, Andy, producer Andy.
Yeah, no, I actually really like this trade. I think that's exactly what the Cavs need is a 3-and-D guy. I just don't think that the Cavs have the ability to make those shots right now. Their defense has been great. And like you said in the beginning, they were rated very, very low. And just this past season, I think they were only rated at 36 wins, and they far and surpassed that halfway through the season. So my expectations for them this season are a lot higher, but I think adding Gary Trent Jr. will allow them to meet those expectations very feasibly.
Yeah, it's an interesting trade. And Cleveland is going to be a team that I think you can guarantee them making some kind of move on draft night just because they have so many moving pieces and they're just trying to find a way after a successful season to build off that. You can go out and spend some pieces and get something in return.
I'm glad you chose Toronto too, because I don't know if Toronto would make that deal with Cleveland, but I do think there's someone to look for as well on draft night or in the leading weeks to the preseason. I think they have a lot of question marks. OG and Gary Trent maybe not happy with their roles, so I don't know if that's going to be something that they'd hop on with LeVert. I don't know if they'd be crazy about taking on that contract, but definitely something that you could look forward to. And if you're Cleveland, could be a really sweet move to acquire Gary Trent Jr.
Hey, thanks for watching. Before you leave, don't forget to like and subscribe. We're the only NBA show focused on covering your favorite small market teams. Find us on all social media platforms at Small Ball Podcast.